Let's build our program. When the program is being built, the corresponding messages are displayed to the Console tab down here. Let's rebuild the program so that you can pay attention to the messages. Messages displayed to the console depend on the build preferences. As you have already seen, only deployment commands are displayed by default. If we open the Preferences window from the Window menu group and go to 4GL Building, we can specify that all the commands and their output is shown to the console. Let's rebuild our program and see the difference. If the program contains any syntax errors, you get a corresponding message to the Console tab. To see the list of the errors and their details, you go to the Problems tab. Let's add an arrow to our code to see how it works. You can get to the line with an arrow by double-clicking its description. Now, after all the errors were corrected, we can run the program. As you already know, there are many ways to run applications with Lycia. Let's run our program from the right-click menu via Lycia Desktop. To be able to run our program via Lycia Web, we have to deploy it to server. To find out the default instance to which your program will be deployed, you go to the Window menu group and choose Preferences. In the open window, you move to 4GL, Run Debug, Application Servers. By default, there are only two default application server instances, the one with no authentication listener and the one with it. You can add other application servers depending on your production needs. Now we can run our application by Lycia Web. You can run your applications with different parameters by specifying arguments. There are two ways to specify launching arguments: set them in the program properties or modify run configurations. Run configurations are created when you run any program for the first time. After this, you can modify and delete run configurations, and every time it will delete your arguments. That is why we recommend you to specify certain default launching arguments in the program properties, in order to have a backup version of arguments to which you can return after deleting the run configurations. As we have already run our application several times, let's delete the existing run configurations. After this, we can go to the program properties and set default launching arguments. Now we build and run the application. And see that our default arguments were applied at runtime. Run configurations override the default ones, so if we specify new launching arguments in the program's run configurations, like this, and run it, we'll see that at runtime new arguments were applied. To prove that default launch arguments are not affected by the run configurations, let's delete run configuration for our program. Rebuild it and run it again. As you can see, now it is run with its default arguments.